David Uosikkinen in the Pocket is sponsored by the School of Rock Main Line and Kroger Percussion. I'd like to thank the School of Rock Main Line, located at 511 Old Lancaster Road in Berwyn. You can visit their website at schoolofrock.com. Ask for Dave Marsh or Rick Allison. I'd like to thank Kroger Percussion at krogerpercussion.com at a /ITP, and it'll bring you to a website. You'll get a 5% discount. Call Eric Metz at 215-669-8588. That's krogerpercussion.com.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the David Uosikkinen in the Pocket podcast. Coming to you from beautiful Tuttlingen. Am I pronouncing that correctly?
No, we're in Wormlingen.
Oh, well, we're playing tomorrow in Tuttlingen.
Tuttlingen tomorrow is
a
10 gig.
So this is a first for the In the Pocket podcast. We're in Europe and we've been here for a couple weeks, and John has this really cool project that is fantastic, and he's worked with some great guys, and I love John, and I've been dying to have him on the podcast at some point, but I can't get him because he's always working and doing cool stuff. So before I'm gonna stop right there. I'm gonna say hi to Fred real quick. Freddie, how you doing, brother?
What's up? Good morning. Good afternoon.
Good. And Daniel,
whatever.
How are you?
I'm great. How are
Doing
you?
well?
Good. Thanks for having me.
And let me give you a proper introduction to my friend here, the one and only, the best dressed man in rock and roll, the one and only John Lilly.
Thanks.
Welcome, John.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Love
In
you
the
guys.
Pocket podcast.
Love you guys. Hey,
Yeah.
we're at this place called Hotel Traub in Wormlingen, Germany. It's like it's near Switzerland and Liechtenstein, about an hour north of Zurich. So we're like in this like beautiful chill out country because we need a day off. So we've been hanging around the spot.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I did the whole Finnish thing with the sauna and the cold tub and stuff like that. I'm kind of in shock, but it's 5 o'clock here, 11 o'clock back there. And, it's really awesome to see you guys and hear your voices, a couple weeks away. It kind of flies by, but at the same time, it's like you're trudging. You know the deal, right, Fred?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You get it.
Absolutely.
You get it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, John has, he's in the Hooters. He's got he's busy with doing that, and he's got a bunch of outside stuff he's been doing. He's got a solo career. He's an amazing guitar player. People use him on records. What are you laughing about? You're incredible.
Oh,
You're
thanks.
great player. And now he's gone even opened another path, it's like, he just keeps on surprising people and doing these great things. And he's created this project with Brent Edmondson.
That's right.
And Daniel Gallery. And you're working with doing film scores.
Mm-hmm.
And kind of like getting into the movie business and create music and orchestration and things like that. And what the hell were you thinking?
Well, it's funny. I wanted to do something different, I guess, pre-COVID.
Yeah.
And I was looking for some different sources of people to play with. And Dan just randomly emailed me one day and asked me if I could teach him how to use Pro Tools, because I was teaching privately. And he said, I'm a classically trained or a conservatory trained classical pianist and conductor, has studied orchestration. And I was like, well, I kind of teach guitar players. But then I had a conversation with him one day. I was like, I would like to have a really good keyboard player to work with and teach and show him how to do Pro Tools. So in the process of learning Pro Tools, he had to write things and compose music. And I was like, oh, well, I'm going to throw some guitar on this. So it was kind of like this.
Organically, it started happening.
Yeah, and I was like, I'm just going to throw some guitar and take this home with you.
Yeah.
Like, you edit here some samples, you play with this. And,
the
and
best
then,
way, I think.
Yeah.
Like
and it just, before I knew it, I was like, I really like what this guy's writing.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to play on another track. And I'm like, this is kind of cool.
Yeah.
And I mean, I've always played out of the pocket of rock and roll. I've always done like things that were different, like theater, dance, film, score to picture documentaries, those kind of things. And
That's what floated your boat all the time. That's
I've
something like
always
that.
done
Not that you can't do the other thing. It's that
No.
you're always like almost like an avant-garde kind of thing going on, which is so cool.
Something completely out of the sandbox of what, you know. And I like the idea of juxtaposing different genres. So Dan and I started writing music together. Then I met Brent Edmondson through, I guess, the Pennsylvania Philharmonic at some fundraiser. And I started talking to this young guy, double bass player, who was really cool. And I said, "What are you into?" He goes, "Oh, I like EDM music." And I'm like, here's this classically trained guy that
for
plays
people that don't know what that is, why don't you tell them what
electronic
that is?
dance music.
Okay.
You know, and electronica and like tweaking and making sounds happen and adjusting things in analog. So I said, well, I checked his pages out. I said, this is really cool. Why don't you bring your drive out and let's listen to your tracks together in my studio? And before you know it, I'm like, oh, this guy's really cool. So I put Dan and Brent together. We got together one day and we wrote a 30-second, like a news reel or news TV show, 30-second spot, just for the fun of it, you know? And it happened like that.
Cool.
So I thought, okay, Brent's this, Dan's this, I'm this. Brent likes to tweak, Dan likes to write. I like to be in the middle. I'm like this rock dude, jazz dude between two classical bookends. And I learned a tremendous amount from these guys. So the three of us are so different, but the three of us make each other stronger. We make each other better because we do different things. And we push each other. So we just started writing, and then all of a sudden COVID hit, and it was like, okay, what do we want to do? Let's do score to picture. Let's start doing some syncing things, and let's look for stuff. And I called a director that did our early videos, the Emily Dance video, John Jobson. And I hadn't talked to Jobson in a couple decades, and I thought, you know what? I've got his email. I emailed him. And he emailed me back the next day, and he was in Italy. He's been in Italy for maybe 20 some years with his wife, Caroline, who's a fabulous artist. And I said, let's get together. Do you have any content? We'd love to score to picture. And he goes, as a matter of fact, I made a movie in 2013 called Terroir, which was based on the essence of wine and like the four elements that make wine what wine is. It was a cult movie. And Keith Carradine was in it, and some fairly well-known Italian actors. And it was a really well-done movie that John did. He says, the distributors want to re-release it, and they want to put more English in it. And I went, well, hello, we'd love to work on it. So we spent the beginning of COVID, the four of us, rescoring a lot of this film. It's yet to be released. It will be released at some point. But through that, we've done all the documentaries about his wife.
And this is instrumental, right?
Right. And it's just, you know, we have all the samples and we have all the sources. And lately, we did a piece called Flamingos based on a painting that his wife did of flamingos that they shot in the Camargue in Marseille for another documentary we were working on. So that led to this whole other project that I probably let Dan talk about, because Dan was the main force in that, in writing the piece. Do you want to pick this up, Dan?
Yeah, so like John was saying, you know, we picked this up from the one documentary of Caroline that John put together. We wrote the score to it, and we were like, hey, how do we get an orchestra to play this? So we took it from, you know, from DAW to score, you know, from, you know, just our computers. We scored it all out. We found someone who was actually renting time for an orchestra in Prague, the Prague Symphony. So just contacted them, and you know, the message was, hey, you want to rent the orchestra for an hour? And I was like, well, sure. So we scored, we finished the score, and then we submitted it, you know, we got an hour of professional orchestra performing that. From that point, and there's a whole story around that, but then from that point, what we did was I reached out to the Delaware orchestra, and just from I live in Delaware, and just through contacts, I reached out to the conductor and said, hey, would you be willing to put this, program this for your performance? So we had a world premiere in March of our piece Flamingos. So it's
Wow.
It's really kind of amazing if you look at our body of work. We have everything from, we have these trailer musics, which are big and bombastic. And then we have these very quiet, intimate, guitar and cello stuff. And then we have orchestra stuff. And then now, if you listen to Six, our new EP, that's in such it's very guitar heavy with John. But it's, I think amongst the three of us, with John at the head, we have such a diversity of music.
That's cool.
There.
Yeah, it's really cool.
And each one gives us its own story, its own, its own thread, its own life. So it's just been a great ride, so far. And just always looking forward to hey, what are we gonna do next? What are we gonna do next? So
that's the best. And it sounds like the stars lined up, that's the kind of thing, things happen organically, and, you get the orchestra, and you made it sound like, composing and putting a piece together, get an orchestra to play, that's a lot of work, man. Writing that out. That's
especially in the short amount of time, and then the other thing of doing this with all these different, genres of music we're doing, just the people we meet. Working with Fred has just been tremendous.
Yeah.
Fred's
the best.
He is the best. We throw him a track or say, hey, could you do something for this? And then he's like, yeah. We go away. John and I, we have lunch. 5 minutes later, he's got the track back to us. Just like, here you go.
Three versions.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Options. You got to have options.
And there's not a lot of slice and dicing, because it's all in time. But that's the beauty of it, Yeah, we love working with Fred. It's really diverse, and we initially, I guess, we spent a lot of time on like the classical, more score, cinematic, orchestral kind of vibe, and this last record, Six, does feature more guitar.
So why Six, though? Tell me why. Where'd you come up with Six?
Brent came up with that.
All right, Brent. Hey, Brent's not here.
We'll have to ask.
Ask Brent. You guys know why where
we do.
Six came from?
We do. The vibe started out with a sample with a Cumpleaños de Sofia, which was basically Sofia Loren's birthday. And I had a sample of an ostinato string section, and that started. Then I put piano on it. Then I finally put a horn on it, and then I said, "Oh, I'll play some guitar on it." So the vibe for the EP is kind of 60s Fellini-esque. Sophia Loren hangs out, goes to meet her boyfriend Chet Baker, the trumpet player. She's driving her Alfa down the Alfa, the Alfa Romero down the Amalfi Coast, a little Taverna, and then James Bond shows up, and it's in a casino in Monte Carlo, and that's what's Movimento is about. It's called motion in Italian. So we got some great horn players, Jim Vidur and David Kirshner.
Those guys.
We write the parts out with samples, and then okay, Brent takes it, Dan takes it, and they reorchestrate it, right? That was a lot of work to do. That's
what pro guys do.
Yeah. So that's how we do it.
That's really, really cool. So we're talking about this music. Why don't we play something? Why don't we hear? What are we gonna play?
I'd say Movimento. Yeah.
So my friend Jim. Can we cue that up? Let's hear what we got here.
Yeah, man.
Bravo, man. That's really cool. Yeah, John was talking about, I was just listening as a listener, I could hear RTI, this late night jazz stations playing that, man. Has a real vibe to it,
Thanks.
It's really good.
I get my jazz
Guitar
head
playing,
out,
really good.
So,
Really, really nice that the way between the guitar and the horns, everything sounds really cool, man.
the idea was to make it really transparent
Yeah.
and not all like a million guitar notes and stuff,
Yeah.
but I wanted to have
It's got class, man. It's good.
everybody talking to each other.
Yeah.
And that's what, Dan and Brent really brought the horns out. That was Dan's idea to make the horns kind of forward. And
I love the baritone.
Yeah, the Barry is great.
It's awesome.
There you go.
Never enough Barry. It's good.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I'm a fan too. I love that stuff. If you hear it in anything, it's like, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, we used to, there was a lot of discussion when we were in the studio and recording it. And then after we recorded it, they were like, oh, I think we should cut this. I think we should cut this. And I'm like, stop cutting the Barry sax out. That's like the best part of it.
And this is when you say in the studio, you're talking about being at Elm, correct?
Yeah.
With
Brandon,
right?
Yes.
Which is a great room. I think we talked. It's funny, Fred. When they were playing that, I was thinking about because we've had an eclectic group of guests on the podcast.
Yeah.
Initially, we just said, it was drummers and stuff, but like Daniel Glass, and I don't know if you're familiar with, he's a jazz, swing, bebop drummer, monster player, beautiful. And I was listening to this record, and I was thinking about Daniel, that he would love this stuff. Kind of classic sound, yet new. You know what I mean? I really like what you're doing with this. It's cool. So it's great working with somebody like Brendan, because he's such a he sends any sound that you want.
He sends his regards. I was texting with them before.
Yeah,
Brendan,
man,
he says hello.
We miss him, and he's just so easy to work with.
Yeah, he's great. Awesome.
Great player too.
Yeah.
He's terrific.
Yeah, we deferred to him quite often in the studio. Dan was MD in the session, and at the controls. You'll see on the website we have a bunch of behind the scenes videos and a bunch of some videos and some photographs of the sessions at Elm, which was really great.
Yeah.
It was a labor of love. And there was one point, I forget what song it was. There was like the turnaround. There was a flatted fifth on the 5 chord on the turnaround that always nobody could figure out what the proper note was to play, and the arrangement went a little bit off the rails.
Yeah.
So
Brent
wasn't around. He was recording or rehearsing with the Lancaster Symphony. Where was he, Dan? You texted him. It was like, what's the right note?
Either Philly or Lancaster, I think. But the funniest thing about that story, and I'm sure that's where you were going. We're like looking at that note doesn't sound right. That doesn't note that doesn't. And so I was finally like, I'm picking up the phone and I'm calling Brent. So I text him. I said, "Do you got time?" And he goes, "I'm actually on a break now. So yeah, this is the perfect time." So it's cool how our synergy seems to between the three of us always work it out. So.
Yeah, Brent Edmondson's a busy guy. I think what's he doing today? He's rehearsing with the Lancaster Symphony or the Philly Orchestra. I don't know where he is today.
Right? He's in a rehearsal right now. Hopefully he'll be able to join us. But he's a force to be reckoned with. So
he gets in there. It's like, the three of us just like triple trouble. We spent a lot of time on Zoom. And due to COVID, how awful that situation was. We came out of it with an incredible body of work.
Yeah.
I mean, our files are like, I don't even know what half the stuff is there. Dan's got major files, and we would remote in every day.
That's an interesting thing, because I think, creative people, like during that COVID time, I talked to Freddie a lot at that period. I got a studio in my house, and it was like, there were things that I wanted to just learn. It's like, oh my God, because I was doing a session one day. I think when we were, I remember I'm going to Costco one day, and I get out of my car and I see this couple in front of me, and the one lady is Lysawing the the guy down.
Yeah.
They're Lysol on each other. I mean, it was like a freaky time, right? I remember I was coming home, my wife said to me, like, you got to keep the bags outside. You know what I mean? It was just
Right,
freaking
right,
weird.
right.
I had a session over at Phil Nicolo's studio one day. I go in there. He's got gloves on. I'm going to do a session. I got gloves on. We're like
Scary.
afraid, you know what I mean? It was like, it was early on because we didn't know what was going on.
Right.
We were freaking out. And I sat down on my phone and I have 2 sets of in-ears. I think I might have told you this, Fred. And I wasn't looking. I looked down and I broke like a $700 pair of in-ears. I said,
No, I didn't know that story. That sucks.
oh, man, you know, that's it. I'm going home. I'm going to put a studio on my
Oh man.
anyway. But so I was forced to learn things and
Yeah.
pursue. Like, there was a lot of creative stuff that was
Yeah.
done. Like, you know, you probably did some of your best work when this stuff was going on. You
I
know?
think the 3 of us we were COVID buddies, and we became incredibly close.
Yeah, it's
You
cool.
know, it's like, I mean, we have
Right.
Davey,
Yeah.
we've got 40 years together, you know,
40
being in a
40,
band.
Right.
Yeah, actually,
Right.
John, you and I go even back before.
Oh,
that. Like,
there he is.
There he is.
Here
It's
comes
Brent.
Brent.
yeah, many years.
Yeah, and it's like this to me. This is like having another band. You
Yeah.
know,
It's
with
cool.
the guys.
Right.
No, I agree.
Right.
You guys
Yeah.
are my guys. You know,
Yeah.
so
Hey,
he
there
is.
he is.
Brent.
Yeah,
Hey, guys.
The third guy, a part of this whole incredible project, joining us, and you said you were busy today, and thank you for taking your time to come down and join us and talk about this, because I'm really, you know, as a bandmate of John, I'm really happy and proud of what he's doing. It's like really cool that he's, you know, jumping out here and forging a path that's different, you know, and it's exciting. And you know, I'm excited for all you guys, you know,
Thanks.
and I wish you all the best luck. And you know, you need a little bit of that, you know. And John was telling me today, he was swimming in a pool and he's working really hard doing the marketing and promotion. And I said, you know, you don't want to leave a stone unturned. You want to do everything you can do. And then at the end of the day, you feel like you did everything you can do to work your project, you know, and then let the chips lay where they may, you know. So it's cool that you guys are doing what you're doing, working so hard with it, you know.
Yeah, Brent, we were just talking about you.
I mean, this is
What's
this
up,
is a
bud?
case. This is a case in point, guys. I am in a basement of a church right now. I just finished rehearsing for a Bach cantata that I'm going to play right after we get off, and I am sitting in a kindergartner's chair right now with like some little
I've noticed.
lines
that John and I
behind
are singing.
me.
Could be worse.
Wow.
Yeah.
Could be worse.
Hey,
life is
all right.
life is good when this is the big problem is fitting in
Right.
a podcast interview around a gig, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you, yeah. So what was it that you were recording today or playing today? What was that?
So I'm playing with the Bach Choir of Bethlehem, and we're playing. They have a series called Bach at Noon, and it's a little 1-hour concert. This is just a cantata where it's 5 string players, a trumpet player, and a singer, and an organist. So it's really, really
Nice.
intimate, and the whole town of Allentown comes out, you know, for a 1-hour lunch concert and checks it out. So it's
Beautiful.
Wow.
the other very different hat that I wear when I'm not arranging horns and playing guitar with John, you know.
Yeah.
So-
How often do you do that? Like, this is like a, you know, a gig like this that you did today. Is that, you know, like a weekly thing? That's something like that, or you know?
You show up yesterday, rehearse, and then play it today, and then you're out of there, kind of
Right.
thing. You know, these sort of things blow in every once in a while, and
Yeah.
it's just really nice
Yeah.
to play with good colleagues and play some Bach.
Yeah.
Nice.
So
Excellent.
tell everybody what you've been working on, we've been working on, because we're doing like too many projects at once, besides releasing an EP. I mean, now this is done, but there's other stuff happening. So Brent, give us like the Reader's Digest version of the Netflix stuff, the Pennsylvania Philharmonic, and the new independent that's going on.
So I'll start this week. The Pennsylvania Philharmonic is playing they're recording and also performing Flamingos, which is, you know, one of the pieces that JBD has done as a result of our collaboration with John Charles Jobson and Caroline Zimmerman. And that performance is happening because I've been, you know, working with the Pennsylvania Philharmonic as an administrator for the last 8 years. And we're really excited to this is the second live performance of this Flamingos piece since premiered in March. And there's going to be
back up. Let me ask you, Brent,
Yeah.
when you say as an administrator, what's that entail doing that? Yeah,
So I hire the orchestra. I do the music, like the library music. I also am producing this film project. This is like a 4-camera shoot with microphones and all that good stuff. So that in that group, I do anything that they need me to do, and whatever somebody else didn't do, I end up picking up the pieces.
You wear a lot of hats.
Yeah. But the fun stuff is when we get to, suggest to the conductor, hey, maybe I have this piece that you might want to check out. I just finished orchestrating, and, that's why you do all those administrative stuff. You try to get all the irons hot so that when one's ready, you pull it out of the fire and you jab it in your colleagues. So this week, this week, Friday, July 15th in Pottstown at the Hill School Center for the Arts, we're playing Flamingos with a full symphony orchestra. And that video of that will come out probably sometime in September, and everybody will be able to see this piece in action, as well as, listen to it on Spotify in the meantime. Dan and I just finished working with Jennifer Carcillo, who's an actress and composer herself, on a film score that the rough cut is going out tonight, and we are going to be polishing this up. A little sci-fi film called Bad Day at Botmart. And, Dan and I have been working furiously for the last 4 or 5 days. We actually started this score with no picture. Nothing had been shot at all. And we just started thinking, oh, here's the script. I think it might sound like this, and, getting that ready. Wow. And then the conductor says, no, that's not it at all. That's terrible. I hate that. And then you just start revising until you get something somebody likes. And, we've really been missing John on the road, because one of the things that John does when Dan and I work together is he's like the Brian Eno chaos agent. And, you start writing something and John's like, wait a second, let me cut out this 2-second snippet, turn it around and slow it down, and let's see how that works. And honestly, that's the thing I really think that's been missing from this project currently. We're really, we're happy to share him with the Hooters, but we're excited to get him back so we can start messing our stuff up again.
We're really happy about what he's doing. Like me, like when I heard about this, and now the more I learn about musically when I'm listening to it, it's again, it's a very eclectic piece of music and a diverse group of musicians, and it's really, really exciting. And man, everybody's doing their thing, in this band. We, like what Rod John was saying, just before you showed up, we've been doing this for 42 years, and it's a long time. And sometimes you do need things to do to kind of give you, and then you come back, and it kind of gives you juices for what you're doing. And you actually need it, to be honest with you. You do something, that same thing over and over again. I don't know, it gets stale, and to hear what you guys are doing, it seems like it's just, I see John last night playing on stage. He's got to be exhausted because it's a lot of work, going up there performing every night, but he plays beautifully, dynamically. I was just telling him last night after the show, he was doing something he never did. Like I saw him, I've been playing for 42 years, and last night, and he's playing. And I said to him after the show, I said, you were doing this thing, like Freddie was doing this, like Keith Richards kind of deal that he never did before. And he always does cool stuff. Right. And it was very simple, but it just kind of made, for me, it made it feel like I'm grooving, and it just felt like it just made just a little more exciting for me. It's hard not to get excited when you're playing in front of a packed crowd. Where were we, in Berlin?
In Berlin, we burnt Berlin down.
John's always fun to play with, as you know. We have fun.
He has a blast. He's a wild man. He's a great player and a great person. So always makes it that cool. So that's a great thing. So.
There's nothing but love. It's a love fest out here on tour, I got to tell you. It's just unbelievable. I've been posting.
Give it another week, though.
No, we take care of each other. It's really great.
Yeah. You have to.
What else should we talk? There's so much stuff to talk about.
I got. Listen, I did a little bit of homework, you know, when you
Great.
sent me stuff, but you know, I mean, you know, you talked about this. Well, listen, the release is big, you know, so
Yeah.
you know, getting that out there and working it, and it's different. I find it interesting because I released the record, and I don't know if you guys with what you do, it's a different approach, but at the same time, you got to get, you know, it's like someone earlier mentioned networking, you know, as an administrator, and and I think Daniel mentioned it earlier. It's like knowing these people, and sometimes you get lucky and the stars line up, but you got to get out there and get the word out. I thought, you know, this was a perfect time for John to do the podcast, because the more people that know that he's got something new out there and what he's doing with you guys, it you know, just, you know, we live in an environment, especially with marketing, that things are viral, and they start hearing this thing, like, you know, and it just, you know, it's like a domino effect, you know, but you got to work it. You got to keep on pushing, get on more podcasts and get the word out there. And, you know, it's a lot of work.
I think it's the connection that you make with people. You know, it could be an email,
Yep.
it could be a conversation, it could be somebody random. You say, like, okay, all right, what do you do? I do this. Okay, here's my phone. Give me your phone. Here's the QR code. Here's the website. Boom. Here's the link tree. You can just go down the rabbit hole. You don't feel like a blah 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 blah. Just like the work speaks for itself.
Yeah.
If you Google JBD Music Works, I mean, I think the body of work.
JBD Music Works. You keep saying that.
John, Brent, and Dan.
Well, you know, and it's interesting because, like, even this I think we've done 100 and I think this might be my Jim, 110 podcasts, I believe we've done. You don't see our producer, but he's on there over there. You see his name, but I think this is 110 podcasts, and you can get the podcast. You go to on Spotify, which I was really surprised to see that one day. Like, I was like, you know, Jim and his company does a great job of getting on different platforms, like what's happening with you guys with Distro.
DistroKid,
right?
Yeah. That's just the aggregator for all the different music distributor sources.
Yeah.
You got to pick one, it just goes out.
We're living in a different, it gives an environment for artists. You know, like when the internet happened, it was like it leveled the playing field in a sense that everybody could get their music out there. But the problem was that everything got out there, you know, and there's so much, and so much, right? So much music, and some great music that's like I found out like later on, like how great this is, you know, or like something like this, you just got to get out there so people, you know, can hear it on all the platforms. Like you got Spotify, you got iTunes, I mean, there's
Tidal, Deezer.
Deezer.
Amazon.
Yeah, right.
Apple
exactly.
Music.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just all there.
Well, you know, one of the things that's funny about what you're talking about, the democratization of music and the way everything is out there for everybody to see, is we as musicians, when we're making the stuff, we don't want to have to talk about it. We want to let the music speak for ourselves, and we want people to just kind of stumble on it. But it's only like a tremendous amount of work and effort to get people to know about it that it ends up getting out to anybody at all. And you know, it's a way of changing how you think about talking about yourself. And it's not, I'm so great, I'm doing this thing that you're gonna love. But you start having that conversation and everybody's like, I want to know what you're doing. You seem like a cool person. What are you up to? Wow, how can I support you? How can I follow you? And it's easier than ever. But it's also, you know, if you tell them, go check this out, 9 times out of 10 they won't. So you got to push them a little bit, and you got to give them teasers. You got to give them ways in that make it easy for them to want to listen.
And getting your music, you know, like what's really cool is that you're using, you know, I mean, look, how about it when you saw Bob Dylan on a lingerie commercial? You know what I mean? You're using film, you're using, you know, video. Who knows what your music will be attached to, but that's going to help sell the music. I mean, you're musicians. You guys are musicians.
But that's a big part of it.
Yeah, exactly.
To us, we use our music to tell a story. That's what we're really good at.
Yeah.
When we look at a visual, or we get a brief, or we talk to a director, or we collaborate with other people that have created a project like a documentary or whatever, you draw on all those things. And that's, I think, one of our strengths is to be able to tell the story, but to have the right conversation.
Yeah.
It's like Dan's been working on trailers for the past 30 weeks. You know, you get a brief every single week for Blue Pearl Creative UK. I mean, that's a serious organization in London that places things, you know, and when they get a hit from that, you never know. Everybody wants those things.
Yeah.
Right, Dan?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
you work your ass off. We worked our asses off collectively to, you know, push through that whole thing. And we're lucky enough to be part of that.
I want to add one thing real quick. As being an outsider and being in some of these Zoom meetings with these guys and seeing how they work, John, you used the word collectively. Their dynamic is a wonderful thing to see, because everybody kind of has their role, but everybody also is not afraid to say, well, you know what? I don't agree, but it's all done in a professional manner and with love.
Respect.
Dude,
Yeah.
that's what
It sounds like you all respect each other, and it's important.
Yep.
We invited Fred in early, you know. I mean, because we wanted a drum track. We said, okay, Fred, he's in our contacts. He's always on our Zooms. You know, Fred, you want to come and hang out? You can sit here in the corner and watch us work. And we spent like the COVID every day we did this. Freddie was hanging out with us a lot. Jobson in Italy, we'd Zoom Jobson. You know, it'd be the morning, he'd be the afternoon, and we'd be like, we'd have an MP4 a video up and Pro Tools at the same time, and we'd be cutting and editing with him and other directors at the same time, live. And Brent's controlling it, you know, from his house. Dan's in Hocastle, I'm in Westchester, you know.
That's pretty amazing.
That's
amazing.
I love working that way, and we had the same speakers that matched. You know, thanks Dan Gallery. You know, and it's great.
That's exciting. Yeah, that whole idea of working remotely like that, you know, is that's really cool.
And then when we get together for real, it's like, this is really weird. We're in the same room together. We had to get used to it in the same room.
No doubt. No doubt. You know,
you're shorter than I thought you were.
To color in this whole thing,
you know, you sent me a few things. I really want to play some more music. We have 3 tracks. What would you like to play next?
I don't know. I think Cumpleaños de Sofia, which is kind of like in the same kind of vibe, that 60s spaghetti.
What's that mean, John?
Sophia Loren's birthday.
There we go.
Happy birthday, Sophia.
Yeah, I mean, she made that movie, which I still haven't I haven't seen yet, where she plays a prostitute, I believe it. Meets this little boy.
That's a great movie.
That's a great movie. It's awesome.
Sophia Loren, you know. And
it's a recent movie.
Yeah.
She was great.
I
loved it.
So, an icon.
It was like a vibe that just kind of came with this record, you know, and I just kind of drew on that and and just that feeling, and just we had to change the titles to Italian, you know, and learn how to speak Italian.
I love it. Well, let's play that. Do you have that, Jim?
Yeah, this is great. Thank you.
Sure. Have fun. I get
Little twang. I love the twang. Just real simple. Brent's playing the hooter on this. Yeah.
Yeah, I dig that, man. That's terrific. That's really great. It's really
You
good.
know, a big shout out to both Dave and Jim, who the
Oh, yeah.
horns and
Great
sax. I
job.
mean, it was, you know, we're in the studio. We have it sketched out. Brent, you know, finishes, you know, does the orchestration to it. We get in the studio, and then as we're listening to it, we're like cutting and pasting with like real people. We're like, no, you know what? Play that again. Could you do that up an octave? Oh, could you do that? Could you do this? It's just so those two guys were so great to work with when it, you know, came to this. And then I think at one point, you know, even Jim on the sax was like, he's like, hey, do you mind? I have an idea. Do you mind if I just play this the way that I want to? And, you know, sure enough, it made it. But it was, you know, those guys were just such a great, you know, two great guys to work with and just flexible. I'm not sure if every session happens like that, but, you know, they certainly
You know,
were.
I've used them on stuff, and they're always great. You know,
Yeah.
they're always great. So, you know, guys that come up and they're just into it, and they're a joy to be around working. That's it, man. You know, it's well, it sounds wonderful. It sounds really, really great. So talk a little bit about, you know, you're promoting the record, you're doing the record. You're not going to do anything live. So there isn't any real, your whole approach will be, you know, get the word out on the internet. Maybe some film guys or something will see it. So it's kind of a long-term thing to see, you know, because it's already a success. Because to me, like, if it's, you know, you hear it and it sounds great, you know, that's wonderful, you know. And then maybe down the line, you know, it's a music, sometimes art, you know, it doesn't really kind of, sometimes it takes time for it to really hit its mark, you know.
I think it's connecting the right people.
Yeah,
you know, it's the people, the contacts that we've made over the past couple of years, the people that I've known forever. You know, the people that I feel are organic. You know, trying to push the envelope too much with them. I mean, there's a million music supervisors and sync reps out there, and a lot of people. It has to be the right connection. And I think, you know, now that we have this sort of product and we have a lot of other components in our arsenal, I feel more confident talking to people and saying, you know, let's have a conversation about what we can do for you. How can we work together? And that kind of thing. That's cool. And that's, you know, that's my approach to it. You know, somebody virally might hear it and go like, this is really cool. But I think a direct approach is pretty good too.
I love it.
You know, and you never know what'll happen.
I love it.
Yeah. You know, the whole reason that we're making this stuff is because we like this stuff. You know, we're doing this because it's making music that we want to hear, and we're working with people that we want to work with, you know, bringing in Freddie, bringing in Jim and Dave, and, you know, at the end of the day, it's great when people connect with it, and people do when they hear it, you know. So, you know, we aim for that, but really at the end of it, we're just doing this for us. And I met John, you know, I was playing an orchestra concert, and I was so burned out on playing the bass in an orchestra, and he just was there, and he was like, hey, bring a hard drive, let's do this.
That's what I said earlier.
He told that.
And you know, like,
tell the story again. I'd love to hear it from your side of it.
Well, you know, just the way it all came together. It was like we all ended up.
Did you know John at all? Like any of his like playing his, you know?
I grew up in Delaware, so I grew up in Delaware, so I knew All You Zombies from Pierre Robert's show on MMR. You know, like I was culturally aware of it. And my parents participated in the Hooters High School competition and everything. You know, but
it's great. I know.
But really, cool. I mean, it was John was somebody who met me and saw that I was into like synths and trying to figure out electronic stuff.
Right.
And even beyond, you know, knowing the Hooters, it was just like, here's somebody who's sympathetic to what I'm going through and is kind of looking to do a little bit of what I'm doing. And that synergy, you know, it didn't matter what we produced. It was just, let's work together. Let's like collaborate. Let's have some fun. And the whole project has really been that from day one, is let's just do stuff together and make things that we like with people we like.
Right on.
Well,
You know?
keep doing it. You know, it's for somebody who's just becoming a fan of what you're doing. Keep doing more. It sounds great. It's really, really great. You know, and these kinds of things, you know, don't happen by, you know, you gotta want to do it, meet people. You know, it's great how you guys connected, all of you.
Yeah, I think it's really
good stuff.
synchronistic. You know,
Yeah.
it just kind of we just felt, you know, this randomness of it, and it was just like, you know, total strangers. And I'm like, okay, let's just, you know, I take my wall down. I don't give a shit anymore. You know, it's like, if this person's cool, they're cool. Let's see what happens. You know, and it's just like, wow, this is really good. I mean, this is my other band.
Yeah,
you know, I mean, these guys are my guys.
Gotcha.
And you know,
I had actually met Brent through a podcast around the same time that you guys were putting this together.
That's right.
Oh, right. Brent,
was it your podcast that I did with you?
Yeah, the Right Fiction. It was right
cool.
around the time you guys were, I think, around the same time.
Totally.
So talk about random.
That's wonderful. Yeah, you know, you know, take every opportunity out there to get the word out. I'll certainly spread the word. You know, it's so excited that you guys can join Fred and I today, and Jim. You know, because we just, you know, we love what you're doing. Before we leave, I think, you know, our friend John's husband, Bobby, brought up the fact that, listen, man, you got to promote I'm in a hotel. We're doing this from my hotel room, and we're here in what was the town? This is Wormlingen, Germany. So I'm going to give them a plug. You know, we're in Switzerland. We're between Switzerland and Liechtenstein. This is an hour and a half north of Zurich. We are right now. Tomorrow we play in John said a tent, but it's a big ass tent. Yeah, you know, it's sold out, and it's right by a castle.
It's a
right?
castle, yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's a beautiful town, and you know, the one thing that I you know, when I get to Europe and play, you know, Freddie, I know you've spent a good amount of time playing over here. You know, the audiences are amazing. They just they love music, and they always have. And you could see, you know, like the fact that it's coming back and people can get out and play. They just are so happy to see you. You know what I mean? Frankly, I feel like we're pretty much kicking ass when we get out there and doing our thing.
Right.
But I think they're just so grateful to see live music again, you know? And, you know, we're having a blast. It's a beautiful day. Yeah.
It's people
singing the songs together, singing the words together, participating in something with a community.
It's cool. Hey, you know what? Come over here, Bob. Come say hi. Bob's with us too, because
Bob's
actually a director. I'm honored. He's never saw the podcast before, and he enjoyed himself.
And now he's in it.
He's the one who said, "You need to do this. You have to promote the hotel for this." So Bobby joined us.
He knows.
Here.
But we didn't promote the hotel. The hotel is called
Hotel Traub.
Hotel Traub. And they held breakfast for us today. The tour bus, we drove all the way from Berlin. Yeah. We showed up at 11:30. They still had breakfast waiting for us.
Nice.
And then it's like the to make the eggs. It's like the grandmother is there making eggs for you. And the spa is off the map.
Yeah. They come out to the pool with fruit and with fresh
cappuccinos.
I said to them,
they like us.
I said, and do you do this for everybody? She says, no.
We like the Hooters. You know, so it's been great.
I was speaking Spanish to one of the housekeepers, Chris, and I singing Johnny B to her. She goes, "Oh, I know that song." You know?
And the hotel's been really
it's been great.
So what else, Dave?
I just want to thank JBD Music Works and all the best. Congratulations on this record.
Thank you.
Freddie, I love you, man.
Love you too, brother.
Good to see you, bro.
Always.
We're still out for about almost another month.
4 more weeks.
And
keep
but
kicking.
It's kind of cool playing like that. Like as a drummer, you know, 4 weeks you start getting a groove and playing everything. Like I'm even clicking there. Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds with these guys, which is wild. Hey. These guys are doing it. They're playing great. You get in a groove.
After a while, you probably aren't even hearing that click. After a while,
yeah.
bury the click.
You're burying that baby. Exactly.
Yeah. Hey, can I ask my guys if there's anything else they want to say to wrap up? You want to jump in with anything we've forgotten or shout out anything?
Please.
Dan?
Hey, we're just grateful to have had this opportunity to promote the record. This is about, for me, this is about John and getting John's amazing guitar playing out there. And I'm so proud of him today. This is just to be a force behind John and what he's trying to do is so exciting right now.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. What's the next record going to be, guys? I know Dan's already thought about it. Right?
Oh, it's 100% solo double bass. Don't sleep on it.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Well, listen, we're running short on time. Listen, we can't do this without a sponsor. I want to thank my friends at the School of Rock Main Line, Dave Marsh, Rick Allison, for the support. Jim Grasso, our producer. Listen, we'll be back again. Hopefully we'll do a couple more from Europe. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. And we'll see you from In the Pocket.